We're real excited to see such a big crowd here. Thank you for coming out. My name is Diane Lance, and I am the department head for Metro's new department, the Office of Family Safety, and we're really pleased that everyone's here today and that this project is getting underway. We have some people I would like to recognize on behalf of the mayor. We have Commissioner Bonnie Homrich here with us today, Deputy Commissioner Scott Modell, Deputy Governor Jim Henry, Representative John Ray Clemens, and Representative Sherry Jones. We're pleased to have such distinguished state representatives here with us. We have Sandra Moore, people from our council. Sandra Moore is here, Bill Pridemore, Karen Bennett, Council-elect Freddie O'Connell, Larry Hager, and Ronnie Stein. Also with us are some elected officials such as Glenn Funk. Our former District Attorney General, Tori Johnson, is here with us today. This has been a long passion of his, a Family Justice Center. Chief Steve Anderson, Ricky Rooker, Judge Linda Jones, and we have one of our mayoral candidates, David Fox, is here with us today as well. And Megan Berry was not able to be here, but sent her regrets in support of this project. So we appreciate everyone coming out for this today. This groundbreaking is a wonderful event, and we have a great lineup of speakers here today, eager to tell you about the importance of this project to them and to the people that they serve. But before I introduce these speakers, I've been asked to provide a bit of a backdrop on the years of work that have gone into this project and to describe the function of our new department. Metro's new Office of Family Safety work and purpose is to facilitate the coordination of services of the Family Justice Center, which will be built here, and to oversee the work of our current advocacy center programs, such as the Gene Crow Advocacy Center. We've worked hard on these things for the past few years, and a Family Justice Center like the one we will be building here today is a step that cities like Nashville take when government and nonprofit partners decide that more can be done to accomplish and to protect victims and hold offenders accountable when they work under one roof. That's the philosophy. If we get our partners together under one roof, we can better protect victims and hold offenders accountable. And while the foundation has not yet been poured on our Family Justice Center, we, this community, a lot of you standing here today, have been working on that foundation hard for the past few years, especially the last 4 years. In the past 4 years, Nashville has developed a collective voice that is strong and speaks up about the safety needs of victims. This Family Justice Center and our Office of Family Safety will help work to keep that voice strong. In the past 4 years, the ears of those that can affect change have been listening and responding to that collective voice, and is responding in really effective and innovative ways. It's been really impressive to be a part of that. This Family Justice Center and our Office of Family Safety will work to make sure that voice continues to reach those ears that can make a difference. In the past 4 years, we've learned that lives can be saved when Metro departments communicate regularly with each other and with our many nonprofit partners. This Family Justice Center and our Office of Family Safety will work to keep this type of communication strong. In the past 4 years, we've learned that we have simply a lot to learn. And this Family Justice Center and our Office of Family Safety will work to ensure that we continue to learn, especially learn from each other. We have all worked so hard. Some people have waited for this project to happen for the last 13 years. It's been a real community-wide and patient effort. And that is a really big part of what makes this such a proud day, is that patience and working together and diligence can make a big project like this happen for our city and the victims that we serve. Before I turn over the microphone, I'm privileged to introduce our next speaker, Chief Steve Anderson. And Chief Anderson is a 41-year veteran of the Nashville Police Department whose steady leadership has helped keep Nashville a safe place to live, work, and raise a family. Chief Anderson is a graduate of Belmont University, and some of you may have heard on the radio and in the newspaper that Belmont recently honored Chief Anderson with an honorary doctorate degree. He is also a graduate of the Nashville School of Law, is licensed to practice law here in Tennessee, and most of all, in my opinion, Chief Anderson has shown unsurpassed and unwavering commitment to the protection of women and children in this community through his leadership, through his innovative police programs and policies, and through community collaborations. For this reason, I really am most proud to introduce Chief Steve Anderson.
Thank you, Diane. I listened closely because that's the sort of things they say at your funeral, and I'm told I won't get to hear that, so thank you very much. Thank you to each of you for being here today. We're especially grateful to our next-door neighbor, Bobby Jocelyn Sines, and all the members of the Murfreesboro Road Merchants Association for this warm welcome they have extended us. It's good to be among friends. For decades, the Metropolitan Police Department has worked very hard to set the example when it comes to services for victims of child abuse, domestic violence, and sexual assault. Our Youth Services Division was among the first unit of its kind in the United States when it was formed 45 years ago. The men and women assigned there, past and present, have done incredible work on behalf of our city's youngest citizens who need our help and protection. Likewise, our Domestic Violence Division, created 21 years ago, has set the example nationwide in helping and supporting victims of family violence, violence which continues to be one of the most committed crimes in Davidson County. The men and women assigned to the Domestic Violence Division have committed themselves to ending that cycle of family abuse through innovative law enforcement strategies in partnerships with organizations such as the YWCA and the Morning Star Sanctuary. Also partnering with us in protecting Nashville's families is the Nashville Children Alliance. The Nashville Children Alliance is a nonprofit organization working very closely with our investigators to provide forensic interviews and counseling to victims of child abuse and child sexual abuse. I am privileged to serve on the board of directors for the Nashville Children's Alliance. Each of these organizations, the Youth Services Division, the Domestic Violence Division of the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department, and the Nashville Children's Alliance work closely every day from different buildings, miles apart, to bring justice for Nashville's children. The Family Justice Center will bring us together under one roof, all of these services, along with the Sex Crimes Unit of the Police Department and a component of the Tennessee Department of Children's Services. When we are all together under this one roof, men and women and children who have been victimized by family abuse or sexual assault can come to this one site and receive the services and care from the dedicated police officers, counselors, and social workers working here together. This will make truly a family justice center. No longer will our victims be routed to multiple locations where transportation and parking may be difficult. Here at this convenient location, with ample parking, our victims can receive the services they need and they deserve. This groundbreaking today will forever serve as a reminder that Nashville is very serious about serving and supporting the victims of family violence and sexual abuse and doing all possible to bring the perpetrators into the courtroom to answer for their crimes. It's now my pleasure to introduce June Turner. June is the executive director of the Nashville Children's Alliance. At each of the board meetings, I get to see firsthand the work and accomplishments of the Nashville Children's Alliance. They provide care and comfort to Nashville's children who have suffered abuse or sexual abuse. This requires special care from special people. The dedication of June and her staff have been an inspiration to me. June?
Thank you so much, Chief Anderson, for that really, really warm welcome. October 1st, 1985, cutting-edge legislation was enacted in Tennessee, mandating child maltreatment cases be worked as a multidisciplinary team called the Child Protective Investigative Team. Child advocacy centers were not in existence at that time in Tennessee, but were later added to the legislation. Therefore, police, DCS, DAs, and child advocates had to learn to work together and share information for better outcomes for children and families. I am so proud of our state leadership for making it happen, and the citizens, some of whom are in the audience today, who proudly stood for children. We've learned a lot through the years about working together as a team. Because of the creation of the Family Justice Center, we are extending our work and joining hands with domestic violence professionals to work together to address both child abuse and domestic violence. The Family Justice Center brings us together to work and think in terms of family violence, therefore creating a place where family violence issues can be addressed, victims can be supported, and healing can begin. So here we stand today at the groundbreaking for our Family Justice Center. Our mayor, Metro Council, police chief, other city leaders, and citizens have taken a huge step forward in saying that as a city, we also stand for children, the safety of our citizens, and that addressing family violence is a top priority. Imagine that the worst happens and you've learned there's an allegation of severe abuse involving your child. Imagine you live in a city where you go to one place and meet all the professionals involved in the investigation, treatment, and possible prosecution of your child's case. Imagine they're all housed in the same building and are striving to work together seamlessly for your child and for you. Imagine that the city in which you live, when you enter the building, housing the team members, that the building has been designed for you and for your child. Instead of harsh lights, bad paint colors, uncomfortable furniture, and disturbing noises that make you even more stressed, you feel your anxiety level begin to decrease as a result of the comfortable and welcoming environment. We now live and work in that city, and it is a day of great, great celebration. Let's pledge today to defy the national statistics of 1 in 10 children being abused before the age of 18. Let's strive to move the needle together for our statistics to be here in Nashville 1 in 50 and then 1 in 75 children, understanding that even one child is one too many. We can do it. And today is the start of this shared vision. Together, let's pledge to make Nashville the safest city in America for children. It is my honor to introduce Jim Henry, Deputy to Governor Haslam and his Chief of Staff. He has been in this role since August 1st of this year. Prior to that, he served as the Commissioner for the Department of Children's Services. While at DCS, he was able to work with his leadership team and revamp the Child Abuse Hotline, move the Brian A. federal lawsuit closer to exit, elevate child health, and bring a new therapeutic program to juvenile justice facilities. He began his service in this administration as the first commissioner of the newly created Department of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities. A former Kingston mayor, Jim Henry, served 12 years as a state representative and 6 of those years as the minority leader advocating on behalf of children and individuals with developmental disabilities. My friend and a friend of children, Jim Henry.
And I'm only 102 years old, but I'm going to get it. Now, let me just, on behalf of the state, say thank you very much, Carl Dean, for your leadership, Mayor. We're sure going to miss you. And Chief Anderson, and for his leadership. And, you know, it's... When I first got into the commissioner of DCS, it took us, June brought us together, and most of all, thank you for your leadership in bringing us together. And she put us together, the chief, the district attorney. We all met over here at, I think, TPS, and and it took us about 15 minutes to recognize this was a good deal. So it's great to have today being the fruition of all those efforts that we've had. Let me just say in one final thing, this is going to be great not only for the state of Tennessee, but for the children and families of this state, and particularly this area. It's going to be immeasurable of what kind of rewards are going to come out of this. Our SIPET teams will have a place. Law enforcement, the DA, our children's services will be able to work together. It's a great day for Nashville, and it's an even greater day for the Tennessee. Thank you. Chief.
Thank you, Governor Henry. That has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? You know, Commissioner Henry at the time, the Department of Children's Services, and as I worked with him as he fixed everything out at Woodland Hills, I knew that he was a man with a vision and a man that we could approach with this project. And thank you for bringing the state partnership to us. And thank you to everyone gathered here today. This is such a warm welcome. We're just extremely grateful to everyone here, and especially to the Murfreesboro Road Merchants Association. We look forward to being good neighbors for years and years to come. Trevecca University is just a short distance down the road here, and it's very active in the Murfreesboro Road Merchants Association. I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Dan Boone, who graduated from Trevecca in 1974 and who has been the school's president for the past 10 years. Our new partner, Dr. Boone.
This is a wonderful day for the Murfreesboro Road corridor. If you think about where we're standing right now, if you leave the Music City Center and begin to make your way here, you'll pass the Nashville Rescue Mission, you'll pass Cameron Middle School, the Napier Community, a Volvo dealership, Trevecca Nazarene University, you'll go past Purity Dairy, Carl Black Chevrolet right here, and the Jocelyn Sign Company there. This is a wonderful corridor of variety for the city of Nashville. And Murfreesboro Road is excited to welcome the Family Justice Center here to this site. It's been a place I've passed many times and thought, will someone please do something with that ugly parking lot and those dilapidated buildings? And to have this day come is a wonderful day for us. This is a part of our city where people come to work every day and they work hard, where we treat people neighborly, where we have from urban housing projects all the way to community developments that are beginning to spring up. This is a perfect place for this new city center for us, and we're excited to welcome them. We're grateful to Mayor Dean. I remember when you sat in my office, seems like just yesterday, as a candidate for the mayor of Nashville, and said, what does the city need to do? He's kept his promises to us, and we are grateful for your leadership that brings this to this part of our city. We're also very thankful for the bus transit that you've been able to get up and down Murfreesboro Road, connecting this vital part of our city to the other parts of Nashville. Now, from this moment, we're excited about Murfreesboro Road Corridor becoming a new investment for the city of Nashville, and this is a wonderful beginning for us. And I just want to say on behalf of the hundreds of merchants and neighbors that are up and down this historic corridor, we want to say welcome to the Family Justice Center. We are your new neighbor. You can call on us, and we think this is going to be a wonderful home for you. Chief, would you come?
Thank you, Dr. Boone. What a great partner. As future generations look back over the past 8 years in Nashville, they will see a city that transformed itself into an unprecedented growth, an amazing growth, but at the same time remain that very special place that we all enjoy and sometimes take for granted. During this period, we have become the IT city, the 25th largest city in the United States, all the while retaining that down-home flavor. I often describe us as the largest small town in America. The guiding hands during this very important time has been those of Mayor Carl Dean. He has brought us to where we are today while being steadfast and holding true to his three priorities: public safety, public education, economic development. With just 1 month left in his term, this will be Mayor Dean's last groundbreaking ceremony for a major public safety infrastructure development. This project in and of itself distinguishes the mayor as a man who wants Nashville to be a leader in safety initiatives for women and children. But he has done so much more to help the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department maintain its status as a world-class law enforcement agency dedicated to its public service mission. Before the mayor speaks, please allow me to go over some of the highlights in public safety improvements during his 2 terms. As our nation went into economic recession, Nashville was not immune. Despite tight budgets during that period, Mayor Dean made the decision to protect the funding for public safety. While other police departments in the nation were laying off police officers, Nashville continued to hire and maintain full staffing for its police department. This means we also maintain the safety of the city. Not only did we maintain full staffing, we also grew the police department by more than 100 officers as we opened up the Madison Precinct and the Midtown Hills Precinct. We also built our city's first ever full-service DNA crime laboratory. Scientists in that building, as we speak today, are using cutting-edge technology to enhance the safety for you, me, and Nashville's families. When cramped quarters and extremely outdated conditions began to hamper the work of the West Precinct personnel, Mayor Dean advocated for a new state-of-the-art facility. The result is the Joe Casey building on Charlotte Avenue. The transformation of an old Ford dealership into a state-of-the-art police precinct has led to a continuing and noticeable improvement in the Charlotte Avenue corridor. We know the same will happen here on Murfreesboro Road. Officers in the Central Precinct are now in a new building at 6th Avenue South and Koreans Veteran Boulevard, designed specially for police work after they outgrew the cramped quarters in the Bridgestone Arena. To sum up, 8 years, 2 new police precincts, 2 new buildings for existing precincts, a DNA crime laboratory, the largest number of police officers in Nashville's history, and now a family justice center. As you look around the country, I think you'll quickly agree there's no more special place than Nashville. And a major reason has been the absolute commitment to public safety by Mayor Dean and members of the Metro Council. It's been an honor to serve as Chief of Police during his tenure. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Carl Dean.
Well, thank you, Chief Anderson, and thank you, Deputy Governor, for being here. And Dan, thank you. And I share your optimism about Murfreesboro Road. It will only get better and better. In preparation for today's event, I took a moment to look over some of the speeches I've given about public safety over my years as mayor. I figured if I didn't read them again, no one else would. And one common theme in those speeches has been the importance of Nashville being a safe city for women, children, and families. When a city is safe for women, children, and families, it becomes a city with a very bright future. I believe in the importance of this goal as much today as I did 8 years ago, if not more. Collectively, we have worked hard to accomplish this goal, and by we, I mean the police department, the sheriff's department, the district attorney's office, my office, the courts, and many nonprofits. The work that has been done to accomplish these goals has involved an assessment of where we stood as a city in terms of how we handled domestic violence cases. We invested in a 2-year safety and accountability assessment where we looked at how our law enforcement and judicial systems could improve domestic violence victim safety and offender accountability. The work that has been done to accomplish the assessment's many recommendations is impressive, and it speaks to the dedication of each and every person standing here today, and I want to thank you for that. Over the past 2 years, we have seen a number of improvements to the system. The shifting of court schedules, the creation of specialized domestic violence teams, victim-friendly policies and procedures, and the training of more than 400 Metro employees on domestic violence and sexual assault. And it doesn't stop there. Just last Wednesday, Circuit Court Clerk Ricky Rooker's office successfully implemented electronic order protection system-wide. In addition to these many improvements, there is one change that I'm especially proud of, and that's the creation of Nashville's first Family Justice Center, the Gene Crow Advocacy Center. With the support of the state, we have been able to dramatically improve how domestic violence victims experience our judicial system. The grant funding and technical support they have provided has been absolutely critical to our success, and I am thankful, and please tell the governor that we appreciate everything he's done for us. It was a unique decision we made almost a year ago to locate the Gene Crow Advocacy Center in the courthouse. And while it was unique, our service numbers show it was the right decision. In the 11 months that the Gene Crow Advocacy Center has been open, it has assisted more than 6,100 people, including 3,700 who are domestic violence victims. That's an average of 340 victims per month. By any city standards, these are very impressive numbers. The numbers also show it was the right decision to provide victim advocacy services. The advocates working out of the Gene Crow Center include Metro Advocates, Morningstar Advocates, Martha O'Brien Center Advocates, community volunteers, and interns from Vanderbilt, Belmont, and Lipscomb. Over the past 11 months, their work has resulted in more than 2,500 individualized safety plans, over 1,650 danger assessments, over 3,000 referrals, more than 1,000 ex parte orders of protection, and more than 2,000 victims receiving court support. In addition, the District Attorney's Office, by shifting its scheduling and work practices, has met with more than 1,200 victims in the privacy of the Gene Crow Advocacy Center. All of this victim-focused work really deserves a round of applause. Our work here in Nashville is catching on. Since opening, we have given tours to officials from across the country who are interested in building centers like ours in their own courthouse. I often talk about how education, public safety, and economic development are all connected. And this is why I have made so many public safety investments, and we have done this as a city together over the last 8 years. Thank you, Chief Anderson, for all your kind words about these investments. The same holds true with domestic violence, child abuse, and sexual assault. They are all related. Children who come from homes stained by domestic violence have an increased likelihood of being abused, both physically and sexually. In addition, domestic violence victims are more often not just physically abused, but sexually abused as well. And what makes this Family Justice Center so important after a long wait is it brings together services for domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse victims under one roof. And I say a long wait because, as some of you may remember, Nashville applied for a federal grant to build a Family Justice Center in 2002. And despite the momentary pain we felt when Knoxville, instead of us, received the grant, we held on to this belief and our hope that we would eventually have a Family Justice Center. And now is that day. And although it might have felt like a loss when we didn't get it 13 years ago, I think the delay will aid us to some extent. Now we can see what has and what has not worked with other family justice centers around the country, and we can make sure to build ours accordingly. Also, we can maximize the use of technology to help us work together, collect data, and keep victims safe. This wouldn't have been as easy 13 years ago. We've picked the right partners for this building: the Police Department's Domestic Violence Division, the Sex Crimes Unit and Youth Services Division, as well as the Department of Children's Services and Nashville's Children's Alliance, and the many community partners that will work out of the second Gene Crow Center that will be located here. The ample room we have on this property will allow other agencies and organizations to move here as needed. I am excited about the safety and accountability gaps that will be closed through this co-location. I'm excited by the fact that this facility will be built on a mass transit line, offering victims another way to get here. I'm excited to see this project adding to the vitality of this important corridor in our city. I'm excited about the collective voice that will come out of this building, building support for the needs of victims. And when the ribbon is cut, it will be something to be really proud of. And now I'd like to invite those who are going to join me in the groundbreaking ceremony to step up and grab a shovel.